in terms of an inclusive classroom environment, it's all that we talked about, but having in mind that you have a variety group of students. Obviously, you start by developing your course syllabus, having that diversity with the learning assessment that you have to know where the students are and how you can make it an inclusive classroom. So you design, before you design your class, it's important to have your syllabus first, because so that the design of the classroom fits the syllabus. You can take, so that you don't have a syllabus that says one thing and then your classroom platform says something different. And also, it's important for you to adapt the PowerPoint for online delivery. It is better to have like short PowerPoints of 15, 20 minutes for students so that you put them in chunk. You can have a long lecture, but you break it into 2 or 3 different parts. And also, using screenshots for your PowerPoints, if you want to provide students a step-by-step instruction on how to do something, screenshot is a very powerful way to do that, because they can see and they can compare in their computer to see if what you had in your screen correspond to what they have. That helps them ensure that they are in the right path. We talk about pre-session announcement. And another thing that you can do is that before you start an online class, have a practice session so that you go with the students over the technology stuff. So together we check with them. If you want to participate in the forum board, in the forum discussion, this is where you have to go after you log in. And this is where you need to click. This is the where you need to type your information, etc. And this is where you're gonna see your grade posted. And you make sure that everybody can do that, so that that can happen. People say, well, I understand. And then they say, well, I don't know where to post my assignments. But if you have a practice sessions where you go together, or you provide screenshot instructions, so that makes it easier for students and more inclusive. Instead of assuming that they should know about it. And yes, the majority of the class knows about it, but there is a couple of students, they don't have a clue of how to do it. Case studies is something that is an interesting strategy for online teaching. And the other thing that you can do if you are doing live lecture, you can involve the students in the development of the PowerPoint, which means that you can, in Google Slides, for example, you can create slide and you create sections where students have to contribute, has to answer questions, enter information. So it makes it more interactive. Games, simulation, demonstrations that you can have, problem-based learning project, instant pause that I talked about, and this one is important, midterm student opinion evaluation. When you are teaching a class online, midway during the semester, give the students an opinion evaluation to talk about what they like, what they didn't like, so that gives you an opportunity to see where to make change in your class. And then ongoing feedback and feed forward. That means that you cannot just focus on the negative. When the student doesn't do something right, you need to tell them this is how you can do it right, as opposed to say, well, this is not good, go and correct it, go and figure it out. No, it's important to provide feedback that is constructive. And we talked about that earlier. An inclusive classroom, you have to be considerate for students with specific disabilities. That means using universal design of instructions. And for some students, you may have to provide them more time to take a test. You may have to use some assistive software or hardware, like IntelliReader, for example. That's a software that can transform text into speech, or speech into text, depending on the type of disability. Some programs allow for captioning of audio so that if a student cannot see, for example, but he can hear the text. So these are the things that I had planned to talk to you about today. One, the prerequisites for online teaching and learning. Secondly, we talk about developing a course syllabus for an online class. Third, we talk about research-based teaching strategies that can foster social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. And fourth, we talk about some instructional strategies that can allow you to have an inclusive classroom. So now it's 48, so we have about 12 minutes if anybody has questions for me. Thank you.